Hello everybody, we're just going to go live. I'm going to talk to you about bitting. This will be available after the live, so you can go back and watch it. So don't worry if you haven't managed to join us tonight. We're going to get a few people on, and then I can start talking about bitting, where to start. So it's probably it takes a lot of people by surprise, doesn't it? When the dark evenings come in, I seem to have lost track of time all day today. But it'll be interesting because we're going to cover quite a lot in quite a short space of time. I'm going to suggest that if you've got any, sort of questions, that you contact us via the website, or you can message through the Facebook page. It's just going to be easier. And if I'm truthful, next time I will probably do it on a webinar basis because it's just easier for me. I'm not very good at the techno, and I know all about horses and all about bitting. But when it comes to the technical side, I'm a bit more happier when I'm actually looking at faces and we can have a bit more interaction. So I'm going to give it a couple of minutes and then I'm going to crack on so we can get as much information as possible. I'll mention it at the end as well, but what I suggest you to do, if by any reason you're not on the newsletter or you're not subscribed to the newsletter, go onto the go onto the website, www.horsebitadvice, and there'll be a pop-up or there'll be an area where you can subscribe to the newsletter. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. We're now running it twice a month. And what we will do is you'll get sort of snippets of information. You'll be the first to know when the courses are being released and the carts are going live. So that's one of the benefits, you're in the know first, because with all the courses there are limited spaces, so it's great to get in quick. Right, we've got a few on, so I think what I'm going to do is crack on. I'm just going to place the phone there and then we'll crack on with what we need to crack on with. Right, so in my place, because I want to do the bits and hold bits up and show you actions and things. We're going to involve my trusty Ted, just as a little bit of introduction. So, why do you want to know more about bitting? I actually think that bitting should be a really conscious part of your equestrian toolset. I think it's, more than accessible for everyone to learn the basics, not even if you want to go on one of the courses as a professional or then take it on as a business like the consultancy course. But it's very accessible, and I hope that I make it easy to understand. And a lot of this tonight is actually kind of that know, like, trust thing. I come at bitting from obviously my learned skill set because I'm a dinosaur. There wasn't really any of the there were a few courses back in the day, but nothing really as hands-on as what I'm delivering course-wise, because I'm a bit of a person, I need to see it, feel it, and work it out. And I think a lot of equestrians are very similar too. We're sort of logical, practical thinkers, but probably quite hands-on. With all the courses, there is a certain amount of, webinar type Zoom elements to it, which we can run through, and it really sets it in good store to build up for those practical days. Now, anyone and everyone that's been on the course always comments that it's the practical days that make the difference. It kind of cements everything. So I'm going to give you this evening a kind of a brief run through, because obviously what I can teach you in an hour, it is a really good starting point, somewhere for you even to go home and experiment with. But Obviously, it's not the full Monty, but there are opportunities for you to take on board more and find a course that suits you. And again, I'll talk more about how you can find more about the courses as we go on. So, first of all, I'm going to say to you, to make it really, really simple, there are only 2 types of bits in my language. So there are collapsible and non-collapsible. So if you think about it again logically, anything that collapses will squeeze into the horse's side of the face, the lips, outer lips, and the bar. And that action actually creates a pressure that the horse moves away from. So I'm going to go side on. So if you get that squeeze, you're not going to stay there. You're actually going to come away from it. So you could say that that's to give the horse the signal to become up and lighter. There's many variations on that. So the second bit of choice, and I'm just talking actions as for display purposes. So this is also a lozenge, but it doesn't break back. It's a non-collapsible. So when you've got a horse that maybe sucks back to the contact or doesn't quite settle on it or gives you a very inconsistent contact, something that doesn't break back or has that non-collapsible action, I actually use it to draw the horse forward, a good stretch from wither to ear, which will lift the core and engage the back and the hind legs. So that's why I say there's only 2 types of bits, because all the way through, whether it's a snaffle option, a leverage, a universal, a gag or a bevel or even a pelham, there is always this basic choice of collapsible and non-collapsible. So with that in mind, what I wanted to do with that kind of description is give you the confidence to go, okay, well, you probably know there's a lot more involved to it than that, but that we can make it more simpler and less complicated for you. And this is why, the guys that have come on my courses have definitely gone, it is complex, but there is a way of actually finding a path through. It's a minefield, but I can definitely guide you through there so you have less problems and make some more effective changes to your horses. The first place to start, forget the bits, go to the horse. The horse is going to give you all the responses for you to actually understand, and once I explain how to decipher what's going on, decipher evasion and decipher, a positive response. But the first place we start is the head. I'm just going to bring Ted in a bit more. So I would do a mild palpation around the head. Again, this is very easy for you to do. You may have bought a beautiful new bridle and you might have had it fitted even. And you would have your physio or osteo or body worker to check your horse. But it's very interesting how many times when those things have all been put in place, when I go behind the ear base, so I would always feel around the back of the ear, the bulb of the ear, just see if you can get a finger in between your headpiece and the horse's ear base. If that's sitting right up against that ear bulb, that will be causing a problem. The horse is likely to come away from it, trying to relieve the pressure or not being too tight. There's so many nerves around that ear base. It will also run down through to the TMJ and around the head. So it could be causing issues. It may not even be a bit problem. It might be that just your bridle is a little bit too tight. So that's worth looking at. Really simple solution. Check that your brow band is not too tight. That is a really common one. And also because being involved in bridle design, I found out that generically, universally, if you like, brow band sizes are too small across the board. So I would say to you go up a size, if not 2, and something that's not thick, something that's quite pliable, or you get these nice drop shaped ones. That helps the headpiece sit back where the atlas joins the crest here, and then you're not preventing or causing any pressure. You've got the nuchal ligament that runs through there as well. So we don't want to have anything too tight there. So then I would check around the TMJ joint. The big R's are lower, but the horses, it's the two bony pieces that are on the side of the head. Just very gently with your two fingers, just have a little press in and around there. If you get a reaction, it might suggest that there is a little bit of strain or a little bit of discomfort. Sometimes it's on one side and not on the other. So that'd be worth making a note. So when your next visit from your physio, osteo or body worker comes in, you could mention that. The other thing to do is just gently slide your thumb in through the side of the corner of the lip, and it's a bit difficult, isn't it, angle, but action it up, angle it up into what I would call the roof of the mouth, the top palate space. Now have a little feel around there, very similar to the inside of the top palate of our mouth. With some horses and some breed traits, you'll find that some have a lower top palate. Again, this is going to be a feature that actually affects your bit fit and the shape that you actually have, or the action of bit, and possibly the cheek choice. So that might be something that we decide that we need to stabilise the cheek a little bit more, have some, certainly not have a bit that rises too high, because we don't want the bit tapping into the top of the mouth. It could be something a bit difficult to know whether your horse has got a fat tongue or not. Obviously, I see loads of tongues. But what I would do, an easy way of recognising whether your horse has a fat tongue, is the fact that it would perhaps spill out, or once the bit's in, really spill out over the tushes, or the horse tries to carry it to one side. It's just, if you think about it, the horse isn't meant to have anything else in its mouth bar it's, what God and creation gave it. So putting something else in there is going to reduce the space. Now, the crucial thing about looking at tongues and the inside of the face, mouth, is it's a lot to do with the tongue restriction and having the ability for the horse to lift its tongue and swallow naturally. So many evasions are caused by that restriction. It's hugely common for a horse to hold its tongue way back here into the back of the jaw. Now, even, it's a bit exaggerated, but you can see the minute you put more bulk into the back, you've got a mouth opening situation. And unfortunately, what's happened there is in let's say modern times, we've decided to try and clamp the mouth shut as a sticking plaster effect, not really getting to the root of the problem. I'd like to think probably 95% of horses I bit or rebit, I would have them in a, maybe not straight away, but I'm working to get them back into a loose cavison. And many people these days choose not to have a noseband at all, which is amazing. And you only really need that for competition. There's no rules anywhere else that say you have to have a noseband, because originally they were only designed for aesthetic purposes. There was no real use to them. Like I say, in modern times, we've unfortunately used them as a way of masking a problem by doing them uptight. But in effect of doing that, we cause so many other problems. We're different, and we haven't got fairy faces. Some have. But what I'm trying to say is, the nerves. We have a trigeminal nerve. It's in a different place, but we have the hinge joint to our jaw, which is the RTMJ. we would not want our tongue to be restricted. If you think of all the things that it's quite a claustrophobic feeling, as is for the horse as well, because